Welcome to DFS Karma, where we talk about our favorite fantasy sports plays for football, basketball, baseball, and pretty much everything else. Be sure to check out and create an account with all of our partners, such as MonkeyKnifeFight.online, PrizePicks.online, and StatHero.online. Use the promo code KARMA on any of these sites to get an exclusive deposit bonus. And don't forget to check out all of our free fantasy content on DFSKarma.com, as well as our own premium plays. Without further ado, let's get the show on the road. Please welcome today's hosts.
Yo, what is up, Karma Nation? It is back. DFS, NASCAR, NASCAR DFS, DraftKings, FanDuel, NASCAR Live, the GOAT, NASCAR Dave, who, as you saw, if you've seen any of our promotions for this NASCAR season, did finish second of overall in the entire world in grading for cash plays. Of course, as I'm giving this great introduction, he decides just to cough into his microphone, so I'll do that again. Dave, so there's a site, many sites out there that rank daily fantasy sports analysts, and based on his cash targets that he has, referring to his article, which is live right now on dfskarma.com, Dave's Drivers to Watch, those cash targets, they grade them based on how they do according to everyone else that writes NASCAR articles, and Dave out of the entire world finished second, so we're very happy for that. Slightly sad because the entire season he was like first place, and we're like, yeah, and then that last race...
Yeah, I took a stand. That's why I was like, yeah, first or second. And rankings mean little to me as long as everyone's making money.
Rankings mean everything.
Rankings mean everything to you, but to me, I took a stand on Denny, and it didn't work. So, oh well.
So we're returning to doing these live streams for the Sunday races. Typically, they're gonna be at noon unless there's some crazy race that starts, before
Saturday night.
Well, before I don't think there's ever a noon start time, but if there is, we'll move it to 11 or 10 a.m. But yes, if there's a Saturday race, you will not have a NASCAR live on Saturdays. Not to the same extent. Dave may be doing a pop-up on Periscope.
No, we'll just get Ethan and me to do it, and you can just sit back and watch.
I don't know if we want Ethan on.
Oh, that would be a fun pod.
Anyway, we are live right now on YouTube, Periscope, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitch, the whole 9 yards. No matter what channel you are watching NASCAR live right now, subscribe to it. Definitely subscribe to our brand new YouTube channel where we've merged our DFS and sports betting plays into one. You can either search DFS Karma in YouTube, or just go to karmamedia.live to find it. So subscribe to that. That's where a lot of our podcasts are going. So if we're recording a podcast and not going live, you're not going to find it on Periscope or Twitter. You're going to find it on YouTube. So let's get things started. If you are joining us for the very first time on NASCAR Live, if you did not watch a podcast or a live stream at all, this is how it's going to break down, so you can know, do I want to keep watching this? Do I not want to keep watching this? Is Dave going to actually have a chance to talk? Well, let me tell you. So we are going to be talking about NASCAR strategy. There's a lot of different races throughout the season, so we're going to be trying to figure out what's important about this race, also weather concerns, if any, and then touching on NASCAR bets to win, or top 5, top 10, whatever Dave's looking at for that. And we do these live so you guys can actually ask questions in the chat, and we will answer that on stream live. So, without that being any further ado, Dave Goat, NASCAR Goat Dave, let's start things off with weather. We do have some questions in our chat right now with weather. Is there any weather concerns? And if there are,
Florida.
How important are they to the race in general, in terms of just strategy?
It's Florida. It rains every day in Florida for like a couple hours. The last time I really haven't looked hard. But last night it had like Florida chances. It's gonna rain, possibly rain, for a little bit, and then it'll be done. Daytona has lights. They're not going to call the Daytona 500 due to rain unless it is pouring rain for a long period of time. Well, I'm not worried about it.
So the first thing you said before you started saying that is, it's Florida, it rains. So in your memory, for Daytona 500, for how big of a spectacle that is, that being the Super Bowl of NASCAR, how often do they call?
It's been a while. I think there might have been one before then, but the one I can remember when I was probably mid-2000s with Michael Waltrip, he won that race.
Waltrip. I haven't heard that name in a hot minute.
Yeah, that I know that one. There may have been one, but it's a. I mean, it would have to. I mean, be bad all day and into the night. They'll get this thing in if they have to. It's the Daytona 500.
Yeah.
They're not gonna call it unless it, you know.
And then also because
I'm looking at the radar right now.
yeah, I think Ethan in our chat just said there's 31% chance of rain on. You said that on YouTube. 31% chance is very small for Florida. Me being someone who was born and
I would
raised
say
you're
only
Florida.
you're only a drive down. What's that?
Yeah, I can actually finish this live
drive up
stream and still make it to the race in time.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, if anyone would know anything about weather, you could tell me what the forecast is supposed to be. So.
Let me pan the camera to the window outside and be like, "Look, it's gonna be all right."
Yeah.
So
I wouldn't sweat it.
Yeah,
and
then also
even so, it doesn't affect how I'm going to play. So.
And then also, what I was going to add on to the weather is because it is starting at 2:30 ish, depending on all the opening festivities, is that there can be a good handful of delays if it gets crazy without actually having to call it, because there's a good chunk of time left in the day before it gets really dark and people start leaving and going to bed.
Yeah, I mean, they ran. I'm trying to remember. I think it was it the 500 that they ran on a Monday night, and that was when Juan Pablo Montoya crashed into the jet dryer, and they ran that thing into like after midnight, I think it was. So they'll run the race. I'm not worried about it.
All right. So the question I usually ask at the top of this, actually, let me pause it real quick. So I do want to mention, if you guys have not seen the scrolling text below or that ad there to my side, we are partnered with DraftKings. They are our featured partner for DFS Karma and Bet Karma, and we have been doing free rolls on the NBA side of things all month long. We have one more here, and it is actually tonight at 8 p.m. So whether you win tons of money on NASCAR with listening to Dave, or you don't listen to Dave and don't win tons of money on NASCAR, there's a free roll with $500 prize pool, $100 to first place. All you have to do is go to dfskarma.com and then just click on the top banner, whether you're on your desktop, laptop, or mobile device. Click on the top banner. It'll take you straight to the contest, and you can go ahead and throw an entry in there or just reserve an entry. 8 p.m. Eastern time tonight is a lock. Get in there and do it. All right.
Thanks for reminding me. I reserved it, but I totally forgot about putting a lineup in there.
Well, there you go. And if you win, you split your $100.
I won in every free roll we've had this time around. So I've enjoyed that. Put a little more money towards my NASCAR stuff.
All right, but getting back into NASCAR DFS, a question I always ask at the beginning is typical strategies for the type of race and the type of track we have. So. Questions I usually ask are like, is it restrictor place? Is it not restrictor place? Restrictor plate race, or whatever the new term for that is. I think they changed it like last year or something, didn't they? What's the new term for restrictor plate? I still refer to it as that. What is
it's not. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was just laughing at Sam.
Jerk. You're not even listening.
Sorry, blame Sam. He's the one that said something funny in chat.
Well, Sam is fired. My question is, what is the new term for restrictor plate?
Super speedway racing.
Yeah,
it's not restricted plate. They don't have restricted plates anymore. But
it's the same.
The body is now basically what they've done to it acts as restrictor plate. So
okay,
so super speedway racing. You can still call it restrictor plate. Drivers still call it restrictor plate, even though it's not. And they always kind of correct themselves. It is what it is. It's the same thing, same strategy, same everything.
All right, so if the last 5 minutes confused the crap out of you, let me just refresh. There are different types of races where some races you're allowed to go as fast as you want to, some races you can't, and so you have to figure out what kind of place differential, what kind of strategy you want to have. There's races where you want to use as much salary as possible. There's races that you can have 10,000 left on the table, and it would actually be a good strategy if you follow
10,000. That's it.
Dave's particular strategy. So. Let's go. I'm going to go through and read these questions real quick, but you go ahead and talk about that topic of strategy. How you're attacking this. Yeah, strategy-wise.
Yeah. So today it's at Super Speedway. If you were here last year, you understand what I'm about to tell you. For those of you that are new, do not be afraid to leave thousands. I mean thousands. When I'm talking thousands, I think I've got lineups on DraftKings that have like $13,000, $14,000, $18,000 left over. In salary. I know Anthony, when he was in chat today, he's like, "Oh, I've got a few hundred left over." It's like, I don't think I have a lineup that has a few hundred left over. I think it's all more than that. Really? So, But yeah, we're targeting back markers. Those are the guys in the back of the field. Daytona, Talladega, those are two tracks that wrecks happen all the time. You avoid the guys up front because you're playing a floor strategy, especially in cash. You're trying to these guys will drive in the back. They'll let the wrecks happen ahead, and they'll move forward. Like last year, if you remember the Daytona 500, there were multiple wrecks near the end of the race, and you went from it's one of those races. You're gonna be like looking at your thing, and you're gonna be in last place all race long, and then all of a sudden, wrecks happen, and you're like winning everything. So that's why in our Discord, I basically there's a rule: don't look at your lineups until the race is over. It's not worth it. So it's gonna change so much.
So
and
interjecting there real quick, so there's a lot of people right now that are watching this that weren't with us last year. They saw, Dave knows what he's doing. He got that second overall grade. Let's listen to Dave this season. And then also this particular weekend, not only the Daytona 500 being the Super Bowl at the beginning, which still doesn't really make much sense, but it is. Well, yeah, whatever. Anyway, but NBA being in the All-Star break, where people have their bankroll sitting there, and the degens that are like, I have to play, tuning in to get the stuff. So with that being said, and you're talking about wrecks in the races, so people aren't like completely dumbfounded. What is for Daytona 500 for the type of race it is? On average, how many wrecks can we expect to see?
I don't have that stat pulled up in front of me, but I'd say at least between six to nine, just for Joey there. 6 to 9 wrecks in the Daytona 500. Is probably somewhere in that area, but you're looking to avoid the big one. The big one will take out half the field, and that's when we take care. And the good thing about on the DFS side in Daytona, you're going to get people, like you said, that just been playing NBA, and they're like, oh, we don't know what to do. We'll get in the karma free roll, and then I guess we'll play this NASCAR thing. And
this NASCAR
and then they put in these guys that are starting up near the front. They wreck, and they're going to end up with a lineup that's going to finish in the negatives.
Yeah, that's like you just said with Anthony. Anthony jumps in like, "Hey, I just made a lineup, 100 left," and you're like, "Did you read any of my articles?"
I did. I said that. Did you not read the article?
Read what I wrote? And that's a perfect segue. So right after this is over, the first thing I want to say is this is replayable. So I know we're live right now as you're watching this with us at 12:15 p.m. Eastern time, but this is replayable. So if you miss any parts or you have to run and do something, you have to come back to it. After this is over, you can just go to whatever you're watching it on right now: YouTube, Twitter, Periscope, Facebook, Twitch, LinkedIn, etc. And you can actually watch from the beginning, fast forward, rewind, do all that stuff. But the segue to the content, we have 2 pieces of NASCAR content that are 100% free to view, currently live right now on DFSkarma.com. So you just go to DFSkarma.com, you go to the NASCAR tab, click on NASCAR articles, you will see Dave's Drivers to Watch, which is an article format that kind of breaks down how he's looking at this race and why he likes certain drivers in it. And then also Dave's final thoughts. If you're familiar with anything DFS Karma, you know that our main cheat sheet player pool that we've coined, Final Thoughts, is one of the hot ticket items on our site. So that NASCAR Final Thoughts is currently live. You can have it pulled up while you're listening if you want to, if you're on multiple devices. But yeah, so we just talked about strategies, just saying that there's a lot of people out there like, oh, hey, what's this NASCAR thing? Let me just, this guy's starting in first place. Let me throw him in my lineup. But there's a lot of strategy that goes into it, which is why we have Dave Goat on the stream to answer your questions. So real quick, I'm just going to run through any of the questions that we have up here right now. So Logan May on Periscope says pretty much one question at the moment: what cheap drivers are worth looking at and taking a risk on? I guess let's focus on your number one overall and on the cash side and the GPP side. So who's like a good cash cheapo play, and then on the GPP side, who are you looking at?
Yeah, for sure. I guess more or less, I'm gonna say the top cash play, for the cheap guys. And I know he's not cheap because DraftKings actually moved him up a little bit. He's really cheap, I think, on FanDuel. Is Brendan Gaughan? He's a super speedway ringer, I guess you could call it. He's doing this one more year. He's gonna race Daytona twice and Talladega twice. Brendan is gonna hang in the back. He's gonna hang in the back all race long. And at the end of the race, he'll move up. And I guarantee, as long as he stays clean, will probably finish in the top 10, top 15. And if everything falls right, the right run comes along, he might actually win this race. He's just that good at super speedways, and he knows how to race them. So Brendan Gaughan is my top cash play. When it comes to GPP, I think my top GPP cheaper guy is probably Michael McDowell. I like I like how Michael drives it at super speedways. You know, he does kind of the same thing as Brendan a little bit. He'll mix it up every now and then and get up there, and so that's why he's more of a GPP, because he's like with Brendan, you know, he's gonna hang in the back. McDowell, he somehow finds a way to be there at the end, but sometimes he gets himself in that middle of that pack, and that's when you start biting your nails and worrying. But I think Michael McDowell is probably your top, cheap guy. But when it comes to cash, I think anyone, starting 31st or back is in play for cash when it comes to those cheap guys. Is the teams that are going to hang back don't have a lot of money, so they hang back, they let the wrecks happen, and they move forward, and they get more money. That helps them move on to the next race. So that's why these guys are
that we talked about on one of our last streams we had last season. It blew my mind that NASCAR works essentially like the MLB without the salary cap, where the Yankees threw out all this money, had always the top players, while there's teams on the bottom of the MLB totem pole who don't have the same spending. That actually is the same as he was just referring to on the NASCAR side, where you're like, why do I always hear about the Busch brothers always at the top? Well, they got the money to have the best cars possible. So it's not every single car is equal grade, and then it's whoever's the best driver wins. They actually have better cars because of the money they're going into there.
Right.
Another question here. I don't know how you would want to answer this. Spencer Smith on Periscope. Oh man, it's gonna be a long day. He says, "Is NASCAR a cash or GPP kind of game?" How would you answer that question?
Today is, and some people are totally against it. I know a couple. I talked somebody into playing cash in this race. I play the most cash ever in super speedways. Because and trust me, if no wrecks happen, I'm going to lose a lot of money today. But they're gonna happen.
Honesty is
key. Yeah, exactly. I won a bunch of tickets, so I've a lot in the $10, a lot in the big tournament on FanDuel. So, but I think you can, if you construct, for this week, if you construct your lineup correctly, like I'm talking about, if you play the safe lineup. The safe lineup is the way to go for cash. Today in Daytona. Come next week, it's totally different. They're at a 1.5 mile track. It's strategy wise. So I always play cash. I always play cash every week. I might timber it down if I think it's going to be chalky, but every week I always play cash, and then I'll have my GPPs as well. So I don't know if that helps, but I'm probably our core plays, for the optimal. I don't design that to take down a GPP. I design that to cash all of the cash games. So.
All right, Anthony, who joined us in Periscope and was hearing us make fun of him for not reading our articles before making a lineup. He said that he focused on making just one lineup for this race, and he left 500 open in salary. So I guess that's a little bit better than the 100 or the 200. No. It's a little bit better. I said it's not where it needs to be.
No, he needs at least 1,000 more left. He's doing it wrong. Whatever he is, he's doing it wrong. I'll try to look it up, but I don't think, like I said in chat, I don't think I have a tournament lineup that is less than 1,000 left over.
Right now, my lowest I think is 700. I have 700 left.
I mean, there might be a way to do it if you put all the good drivers in the top 20. I guess you could do that, but then you're going to have one guy that just doesn't make sense. I think just doing them off the top of my head. It's been a long night. I was up to like 2:30 in the morning making lineups, and then I got up at 7 to finish my FanDuel ones. So.
All right, we have OS on YouTube says, what are your thoughts on Denny now that he's starting from the rear but scored from 21st?
I love it. I would any other race other than Talladega, I would be off Denny Hamlin. If I was making more lineups, which I'm totally not anymore, I'd probably put Denny in a few more. I think it's good for him. I think it puts him to the back and allows him to. I know he probably won't hang back there. He'll probably race up, but at least if something happens early on, which it could, because Ricky Stenhouse is starting on the pole. He's starting from the pole, and that guy. I'm going to watch what I say. He blocks. It doesn't matter whether it's lap 1 or lap 200. He's going to block. He's going to cause a wreck. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a wreck within the first 20 laps because of Ricky Stenhouse. It happened in Daytona July race, I think 2 years ago. So, so I think it's a good that Denny's starting in the back now. So, I don't care, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, he scored from the 21st position, but they move around. Everything, at Daytona and Talladega, starting position really doesn't matter. Other than if you're starting up front, you don't play those guys. So.
All right. I guess the username 6299 says, "Will this site stream the race?" DFS Karma right now is working on a partnership with NASCAR to be able to legally stream the race. So we don't know if that'll happen this year, next season, season after that, or when, but eventually. But no, currently we are not legally allowed to stream the race on our network. Chad on YouTube says, "Does 9,000 left sound about right?"
9,000? It sounds like you're in the right area. I think I don't, without seeing the lineup, I couldn't tell you, but yeah, it sounds like you're doing it right. It sounds like you got some of those back markers. If you're doing a GPP, you definitely want like 2 or 3 at least of those back markers. Probably 3 in that lineup. I'm talking back markers. I'm not talking you have to play like Reed Sorensen and Quinn Huff and Joey Gase. I'm talking, Brendan Gaughan's back there. Corey LaJoie is back there. Corey LaJoie is an awesome play today.
Cash or GPP or both?
For cash and GPP, both those guys, Brendan Gaughan and Corey LaJoie, are great plays for cash and GPP because they run the strategy.
Just don't die.
Don't wreck your car, and you'll be there at the end. So,
let's see what else. Nick Ricos on Periscope says, "Who has a better chance to win or place higher, Newman or Blaney?"
Well, Newman's always around at the end of these things. That would be a betting question. I wouldn't take what I'm about to say and use it for DFS. I think Newman will finish higher probably than Blaney, but I won't be playing Newman in DFS because he's starting 7th and Blaney's starting 27th. So your upside on Newman isn't there. He could win the race. And it's not going to be Blaney might score more if he finishes 2nd. So if you're talking betting wise, Newman will finish higher than Blaney. If you're talking DFS wise, go Blaney over Newman.
Chad says he's got Blaney and Busch are the only 2 he has inside the top 30. I think this is referring to his 9,000 left comment earlier.
Is that cash or GPP? I guess I need that. If it's GPP, that's good. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with those 2. That's fine.
Then OS again on YouTube asked, play Clint Boyer or Reed Sorensen. I'm not sure if that's cash or GPP, but what is your...
Yeah, and cash or GPP because it ends site, because it matters. It matters today. I guess I should put this out there. My FanDuel cash strategy is a little different than my DraftKings one. I'm not playing straight back markers. It's not like I'm playing like Joey Logano, like Anthony or anything. But I'm not gonna play just the guys in the back. I'm gonna play someone like a Kyle Busch in cash who starts 28th because FanDuel it matters more for finishing position and place differential isn't as important over there on FanDuel. So the FanDuel cash strategy for me is a little different. Not much. I still got a few of those guys in my cash lineup, but if that helps.
So Chad with the 9,000 questions of leftover, he says that's actually for cash. So
nope, I'm not playing Blaney in cash. So
all right, let's see what else we got here. So I think we're caught up on questions. I just went through the previous ones. So yeah, so if you guys are still watching this live and you still have questions, whether you're playing on FanDuel or DraftKings or you want to bet on NASCAR Daytona 500 today, get those questions in chat. As you've been seeing so far, you've been answering every single one that pops in here. But let's get to the standard format we did last year where actually before we do that, I did have a question that popped up for myself. Let's see, the highest, and let's just focus on GPP, the highest person or the highest starting position that you will pay up for, or whatever terminology, the highest starting position that you would put into a GPP lineup.
Okay. So this is it. Are you playing a bunch of entries, or are you playing like a 3-entry max? Because if you're playing a 3-entry, I'll just clarify here. So if you're playing like a 3-entry max on DraftKings, I'm probably gonna maybe, from 21st on back, I might have some Martin Truex in that, who starts 15th. I would probably fade the top 12 or 13 drivers in that
In a 3
that
max.
build in a 3-entry max. Yep.
All right, let's focus on 20 now.
Now 20. I don't think I definitely probably from Eric Jones starts 14th. So from like 15th on back, that's probably where I would have my guys, but I wouldn't have a lot of exposure to the top 20 there. Maybe just one guy, and then the rest have in the 20s and 30s. Because you're gonna score, those guys in the back are gonna score you more points than having like 2 or 3 guys in the top 20 in your lineup. Because they're going to avoid the wrecks, they're going to score more points, move up, and move ahead of the guys who are losing place differential points once they wreck out.
Logan May on Periscope says, what is an average salary left over for FanDuel GPP?
Hey, that varies so much. It depends on what you do. I mean, I think in mine, I think I've got something that ranges from, maybe, 1 to 2,000 to like, I think there's a couple in there that have almost 20,000 left over. So,
20,
you could,
000.
Yeah.
I
love it. I feel so comfortable doing that. And there are so many people that are just like, oh my gosh, are you sure you want to leave like $8,000 on the table? Yeah, you do. Trust me. I used it about 3 years ago. I finally started using the strategy, and I swear by it now. It's only hurt me one time, and that was in Talladega. I think it was 2018 when Stuart Haas all teamed up and they just rode around the entire race. I don't know if there were any accidents. I can't remember, but basically it was a bad day. So
Gotcha. So before we segue into our top tier, mid tier, and then bottom tier GPP cash plays like we did last year, just a reminder that if you have not yet joined our free roll that pays out $500 tonight for the All-Star game during the NBA break here, it's at 8 p.m. Eastern Time lock. The only way you can get to this free roll is you either go to our dfskarma.com website and click the top banner. It'll take you straight there. Or we have pinned tweets on Twitter. You can do that as well. If you're in a Discord, we've been posting the links in there as well. Or if you just want to simply type in the link, it is https://dkng.co/karma. Type that in there if you want to do it that way. Get in the free roll. $100 first place. You are paying the $0. You don't have to do anything but join it and throw in a lineup. But let's go to our usual typical format. Your favorite top tier, and when we say top tier, referring salary-wise, your favorite top tier cash play.
Sorry, anyone who's a parent knows it's gotten really quiet in my house, and I'm really worried right now. They were talking, I could hear them, and now it's a silence upstairs, and my wife's at work, and
Somebody drew crayon on the wall. They're like, oh crap.
I'm like, God, what's going on? Unless they went next door to their friend's house, but then they probably left the door wide open, so it's gonna be ice cold when I go upstairs. Anyways, so top tier, I don't know. On cash, on DraftKings, I think Kyle Busch will get a decent amount of ownership in cash on DraftKings. I don't know if I'm gonna say this. I'm not playing Kyle Busch in cash. But I understand. I get it. I understand why people will. He's starting 28th. He'll run up towards the front, so he'll get that place differential thing. The only thing is that he's gonna, he's gonna be susceptible to getting wrecked. And Kyle Busch is aggressive, and we all know that Kyle Busch doesn't like to wait. So if he wrecks out, those guys in the back are gonna have more floor, and they're gonna pass Kyle Busch. But I won't hurt, and I won't blame anyone for putting him in their cash lineup. For GPP, think my top option there is Denny Hamlin. He starts 21st. He won the 500 last year. He won it, was it a couple, like 3 years ago, I think it was, and just snuck by Martin Truex at the end. He's a decent or a super speedway driver. See, I do it too. Yeah, I know.
Make fun of me, and then you.
Everyone does it. So.
Speaking of Dave saying dumb things, before he started streaming, he was trying to say what he was trying to say.
Travis said this and put it on me.
What he was trying to say is, just like cliche term of like pulling a rabbit out of a hat, but he said pull a cat out of a hat. I told him he sounded dumb. Let's go on to.
I say dumb things, and Trevis says
that was your favorite cash play.
Let's take a poll. Let's see who they thought it was. Anyways, move on.
All right, let's go on to the next side of that question.
Yeah. I think I answered it, didn't I, with GPP? Said Denny Hamlin.
I mean the next side of the question in terms of mid-tier. So the mid-tier salary.
Mid-tier. Okay.
First, explain what is mid-tier, like what salary range is mid-tier.
Mid-tier, typically mid-tier is somewhere between like the 7 to high 9s on DraftKings. DraftKings content for NASCAR is so much better, so I base all my stuff off DraftKings. When it comes to final thoughts, when it comes to my article, it's all based off DraftKings because they have the Truck Series, they have the Xfinity Series, and they've got the Cup Series, So I prefer DraftKings when it comes to NASCAR. So that's why I'm just telling you, you can look at the stuff, use it. You can use it most of the time for FanDuel, but just understand that's where most of the stuff's coming from. But when it comes to my rankings, like I said, they're somewhere between the 7 and 9,500, depending on pricing of that week and options. That's kind of where my mid tier lands. So for cash, again, I could see Clint Boyer being in somebody's cash lineup. I get it, totally understand it, and I won't blame you for it. I'm not doing it, but he starts 29th. He didn't have great success at super speedways last year. Pretty sure he wrecked in every single one of them. But he's always up front. He's always near the front. He's always in contention to win. He just can't avoid the wrecks. And but I like Clint. I'm probably actually in GPPs. I'm probably overweight on Clint Boyer. And yeah, I'm wearing his hat. Yeah, I'm a Clint Boyer fan. I don't let that get into my bias when I make DFS lineups. I hate when I have to put Clint Boyer in my lineup because then it's just one of those things. I try to stay away from that bias when I make my stuff. But I mean, Clint Boyer starting 29th. He's got decent floor. He's got decent. He does decent at super speedways. I don't mind him in cash. I'm not doing it though.
All right, moving on to the next portion.
GPP. So you can go. I can tell you Ryan Blaney who starts 27th, but I think if you're like in like the $10, let's say on DraftKings, and you're trying to what Joey say, bink it, Martin Truex Jr. He has horrible luck at super speedways. He just got squeezed out by Hamlin about 3 Daytona 500s ago. And he just always seems to find the wreck. But Martin Truex, it's just something about him today that in a tournament, in a large field tournament, probably not, maybe in a 3-inch max, for sure in your 20 max, and definitely have some exposure in your 150s. Definitely Martin Truex is a great GPP option today.
All right, and then before we get to we kind of already talked about the low tier.
We already covered the bottom tier.
We already went to that when we were answering a question earlier.
When it comes to super speedways, that's where we should start.
Yeah, and we did, and unintentionally. So before we go on, answer any more questions or go on to our next bit, if you guys are not familiar with how DFSkarma.com works, we do have, as I mentioned before, if you're just joining us, we have 2 free pieces of content on the website under the NASCAR drop-down menu. If you just click on NASCAR articles, you'll see our cheat sheet player pool that is trademark coined Final Thoughts. So you see NASCAR Final Thoughts that Dave has put out there for you. And then you also see a more article-based written format, Dave's Drivers to Watch. So use those, help build your lineup. And then also we have core plays as well. So Dave gives his favorite core plays for FanDuel Cash, for FanDuel GPP, DraftKings Cash, DraftKings GPP, and then you can use the final thoughts cheat sheet and then the article as well to fill out the lineup, if you will, and then and that is currently extremely, I would say on sale, but it's extremely on sale. What we are doing from now until the start of the Daytona 500. So if you're watching this live, you have 2 hours from now to get this deal. We've been doing it all week. $99 gets you the entire season, not a month, not a week, the season. And then Dave, remind everyone, how long is the NASCAR season?
We go all the way until the middle of November. NASCAR has the shortest off season.
Yeah. So you have tons and tons and tons and tons of content.
And you got to remember, we also do trucks, we do Xfinity.
Yes.
And, so, like this weekend, and we had the duels, and we had the Clash last week. I think one of the guys in that bought the NASCAR package is basically already paid for it with what he won in the trucks, I think, on Friday. So
yes, we've, like he was saying, so we not just on Sundays, not just for the main event races, but also for the other races as well. That if there's DFS contests for them, then Dave's going to have content for you, even if it's just in the form of core plays. And just to repeat what he just said, one of our guys who already signed up for the $99 full season pass, they've already made their money back because of what they've made, just this weekend alone. So that also includes Monkey Knife Fight plays and Prize Picks plays if they bring it back anyway.
Yep. I don't know. We'll see. I don't think.
Why I'm wearing the hat, because I'm hoping.
I got the Monkey Knife Fight shirt on right now.
Yeah,
so
I'm hoping they bring it back. But we do have Monkey Knife Fight plays, and that is included in the season.
I would be surprised if Prize Picks brings back NASCAR. We destroyed them last year, and I don't see them bringing it back. So.
Dave won us so much money that they're like, we should just deactivate NASCAR from existing on this. But yeah, so the price. So long story short, price of core plays and the Monkey Knife Fight plays, which gives you the NASCAR channel and Discord. All that stuff is only $99 up until lock today. Then it goes back up because, of course, it covers the entire season, which you just said is all the way to November. So going to questions here. Let's see. Logan May on Periscope, playing 10 lines. Would you have Kyle in every single one?
No, do not. Please, do not be 100% on any driver. I think I made I maxed out the 50 cent on DraftKings and whatnot. I think the highest percentage I have of any driver is 45%. I do not have anything more than that. So do not, especially at Daytona. There is so much variance, especially at Daytona and Talladega, that you do not want to be completely committed. You'll be ruined if Kyle. He starts 28th, but he wrecks, and you don't have anyone else in that lineup. In any of your lineups. I mean, your upside is limited there. So do not go 100% on any driver. I wouldn't even go at Daytona. I wouldn't go anything over 50%.
All right, and then Luke. Let's see. He dropped pretty much. I think he just dropped like an entire line to see if you liked it or not. We have Keselowski, Hamlin, Truex, Sorensen, LaJoy, and then Kyle Busch for a 3-entry max.
The Keselowski and Truex, I'd only do one of those. It's a 3-entry max. I probably wouldn't do either one of them, but if you want one, only do one. And I'd probably go Truex over Keselowski. I'm more about floor, but I would get rid of one of those guys and take one of the guys starting, 26th on back, and replace that. And don't look at the salary because it doesn't matter. So.
Ryan Knapp on Periscope wants to know the most under the radar pick.
To win or what?
I guess fantasy scoring, maybe. Let's just focus on DraftKings fantasy scoring. Yeah, there wasn't much context besides that question. So DraftKings fantasy scoring, who's the most under the radar pick?
Under the radar pick? I guess it depends how many people are going to play the strategy, because when lock comes about, ownership percentages always just amuse me, and how many people don't do this. But if I was going to say someone, I'm trying to look here, that would be kind of under the radar, probably, because of everyone's there, because you got Ryan Blaney, you got Kyle Busch, you got Clint Boyer, You got Denny Hamlin ahead of him. Maybe Chase Elliott. He should be something like in the between 10 and 20%.
He just followed up with this question. I don't know if this makes any more sense than it did before, but he said he just said top 5. So most under the radar pick for top 5 finisher, I guess maybe.
If that's the case, we'll get to that when we get to our bets.
Yeah, so. And then Luke chimes in on YouTube with, on DK, does that mean that the salary doesn't really matter? Luke, where have you been for the last 43 minutes? Jeez. But yes. Yes, Luke. We have been. Yes, salary is not. You can have thousands and thousands and thousands left over. One more, and then we'll get to the bets here. Chad on YouTube. Gase. Is it Hoof? Is that a rookie? I don't recognize.
Yeah, Quinn Huff. Quinn Huff or Joey Gase.
So Gase, Huff, McLeod, Haley. Wait. Or Priest for last cash spot.
Probably McLeod.
So yeah, he fragmented the question.
Yeah.
Strangely.
Probably McLeod.
So McLeod for cash. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so let's pull up. So right now we're going to be pulling up our DraftKings Sportsbook bets.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have a DraftKings Sportsbook account and you live in either West Virginia, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, or Indiana. I was gonna say
Indiana.
Or India. I mean, I'm sure they've been out
if you don't.
Or Indiana. You can go to DraftKings Sportsbook. Go to betkarma.com. Definitely create a free account. Actually, even if you're not in any of those states, if you are above the age of 18 and you live in the United States and you do not have a free account on betkarma.com, just let you know that legalized betting, if it's not there already, will be coming to your state at some point in your lifetime, and it is in your best interest to sign up for a free account, free login account on betkarma.com while we do that. But DraftKings Sportsbook is our title sponsor of BetKarma, so we're going to be pulling up their odds, and we're looking at a few different things. So what we did last year, which I guess we can do that again for this season, is we asked Dave what his favorite two driver picks to win. One is someone that's in the I think we did outside the top 5. So outside the top 5 favorite odds to win, and then also the person who has the worst odds, I guess you can say, to win that you would actually bet on. So first, they can't.
I'm gonna do 3 today though, Trevis, just because it's Daytona, and the odds are actually pretty decent. For even guys that are the best odds. I mean, the guy who I probably will recommend here, as 9-1 odds, and he's the best. He's the guy with the best odds to win is Kyle Busch. He has never won the Daytona 500, but he's coming off a championship season. Joe Gibbs Racing is just phenomenal. And Kyle is aggressive enough to get up there and win at the end. He just got to stay clear of the wrecks. But I wouldn't mind at 9-1 there getting some Kyle Busch action.
Was it Kyle or Kurt? I don't know if you saw this or not, but I read a post. I don't think it was posted on our Discord. I think I saw it on Facebook or something. That I think Kyle was the one. They said Kyle is going to go down in history as better than Petty and Dale Earnhardt.
It would be Kyle, it wouldn't be Kurt, if that's the case. That's all debatable.
I was like, I don't know,
it's
man.
Debatable.
I think
It's just like Jimmy Jimmy Johnson, yeah, he's won 7 championships, but he won them a different way. So I'm more of an old school. I'm only like 34 years old, but I'm more of an old school.
Don't look a day over 50.
I'd say something, but we might get banned.
Well, no, so I think why it's just, I don't know if statistically if that's probably could be accurate, but how I view that before we get to the other bets is. Really? Richard Petty did more to advance the brand.
Correct.
And then Dale Earnhardt did more in his era to advance the brand. And I feel like the brand, I don't know if it's a little bit bigger than what it was when the Busch brothers came into play, but I don't think that there's been like a wave.
I think the recession hurt NASCAR hard. So, but yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you. I think Dale Earnhardt Sr. especially just. Yeah. With memorabilia and all that. If you know anything about any of the, you watched any of the documentaries and stuff like that, it's amazing what Dale Sr. did to push the sport forward behind the scenes. So.
All right, let's get to the other bets. So far we have Kyle Busch.
Kyle Busch at 9-1. Another one who I will bet. It's a semi long shot, but not as long shot as the next guy I'm going to give you. Is Clint Boyer at 22-1. Like I said, I think you're just throwing darts here today. There's 40 cars in the field. Wrecks are going to happen, and anybody could win this race. I mean, anybody can win this race. So I'm just telling you, I'm looking at odds and saying, this guy's got a good chance, and this guy's got a good chance. But top 5 and top 10s is probably a better way to bet today. So,
all right, so who's
Clint
your,
Boyer 22-1.
Who's your crazy bet to win?
My crazy bet to win on DK Sportsbook.
Before you say it, this is someone who actually, this is not just throwing money at like a lotto pick. No. This is someone who actually, if all the things that need to happen, they can actually get that checkered flag.
Correct.
Who is it?
Brendan Gaughan. 125-1.
So. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
And what do they need to happen to win?
A lot of wrecks, and the right push at the right time. So, and he needs to stay clean, obviously. But and like I said, I mean, if you look last year at Daytona, I know it rained, so it's a little different. But Justin Haley, who I don't know what his betting odds were then, but I mean today he's 100-1. Justin Haley won the July race at Daytona last year. Anything can happen at these races. Anybody can win these races. And Brendan Gaughan is a good enough driver and has enough experience at these super speedways that he could win this race if everything falls right. Everything has to fall right. Got to get the right push at the right time. The wrecks have to happen, and he has to stay clean. But there's a chance that he could win. I wouldn't put your house on Brendan Gaughan. I wouldn't put a house on any of these guys today.
So I don't think we mentioned that beforehand, but these are just half unit bets. So we're not going crazy.
Yeah, I'm not going crazy. It's a half unit. I mean, it's Daytona. You're pulling a rabbit out of a hat.
Yeah, look at you fixing your cat out of the hat.
Fixed your cat out of the hat thing.
But yeah. So if you're not crazy familiar with betting, our units at betkarma.com, 1 unit equals 1% of your bankroll. So when he says half unit, it literally means 0.5% of your bankroll.
Mm-hmm.
On Kyle Busch 9-1, Boyer 22-1, and Gaughan at 125-1.
For what it's worth, I got the Busch Clash guy right last week. I know you didn't say anything about that, but
yeah, I didn't have to. We blasted all over social media 1,000 times. Yeah. So if there are any questions, we got about maybe 2 or 3 more minutes here to wrap up. But yeah, if you have any more questions, throw them in the chat. We will get to them. And then also, make sure, no matter where you're watching this, what platform you're watching this live stream on, go to karmamedia.live and subscribe to that channel. It's on YouTube because that is where all 90% of our DFS and sports betting content is going to live. So if you're watching this on Twitter, on Periscope, on Twitch, on Facebook, or LinkedIn, go to karmamedia.live, subscribe to that channel because that's where you're going to see the crux of the content in terms of podcast and live streams. So let's see if we have any more questions here real quick. Shane Hall on YouTube says, one guy to play at the back half is actually Timmy Hill. Did you see him rock it up yesterday and stay there third?
Yeah, it's good for him because they got a nice penalty they got to pay for the nose of their car. It was a total accident. Everyone knew it, and I feel bad for that team, man. They're a low underfunded team, and there was some damage on the nose. They sent it back to the shop. They get to fix it. The sponsor, I guess, wanted it. I was reading this on Twitter from, I think it was Bob Pockris tweeted it out, but the guys they put Bondo in a small slit that was supposed to stay open. They got fined I think it was $50,000. Lost I think 75 owners points. And that's a huge hit to that team. So a third place finish, I'm happy to see that. So happy for Timmy Hill. He's a decent driver. The guy's he's not like some of these other guys who just have the money and have the sponsors and that's how they get their cup rides. I mean, Timmy Hill's worked to get where he is. So.
All right. So let's see here. Since Blaney, I think we already answered this one about Blaney moving back. Or was that another driver? Says Colin Haney on Facebook says, since Blaney moved to the back and his starting position didn't change, does that make him a tougher
Nope.
play?
No, just like Hamlin. I love that those guys. I mean, we knew Blaney was going to the back because he got in the duels. His car got damaged. So I mean, he's starting 27th. That's where he's gonna be scored from. He's just gonna go to the back. He'll be up past the 27th position. Before the first stage is over. I don't like I said. At Daytona, starting position, if you get moved to the back, it's actually kind of more beneficial. It might keep you from moving forward, actually, and trying to get yourself all in that middle of that hectic pack that's going to wreck. So,
all right, and then so just to recap everything, if this is a replayable stream, so if you did just jump in or you caught it in the middle and you want to see what we were talking about at the beginning, it's replayable. So as soon as this ends, just give it like 5 minutes to process and the interwebs, and then you can rewind, fast forward, do all that stuff you want to. I've mentioned this a few times, I'll mention it again. We have free to view content for NASCAR Daytona 500, currently live at dfskarma.com. Go to the NASCAR drop-down menu, click on NASCAR articles. You'll see an article which kind of just is a brain dump of how Dave is attacking this race with his favorite drivers and why, and then a cheat sheet / player pool that we trademark as Final Thoughts. You'll see as well. We have the core plays, which are currently live on our site for this race. So if you subscribe to our core plays, they are there. If you haven't, go to dfskarma.com, go to subscriptions, click on NASCAR Core Play Season Pass. It is extremely, extremely discounted. It is like, I think it's 60% off right now for the entire season. That price will go back to not 60% off once the season starts in roughly, like an hour and a half from now. So make sure you subscribe to the Core Plays so you can win alongside Carmination. And let me see if there's anything else we need to address. If you're not in that free roll yet, I've mentioned this 1,000 times on all social medias. I've sent you guys emails. We have another free roll, $500. Doesn't cost you anything to join. Just go to dfskarma.com. It's the top header banner, whether you're on your mobile device or a laptop, desktop, whatever. And click on that. It'll take you straight to it. So go ahead and enter that before it's too late. Let's see if there's anything else we need to address. I think that's about it. Last season, we did a lot of Monkey Knife Fight plays and Prize Picks plays on the stream. All of those right now are in our Discord, and you got to get the NASCAR Season Pass to get them. But as we already mentioned, somebody who already signed up for the NASCAR Season Pass has already paid it off before the Daytona 500 even starts. So before the Daytona 500 starts, somebody's already paid off their NASCAR Pass based on the NASCAR plays and whatnot. So we appreciate you guys chiming in here. If you have any more questions, just ask them in the NASCAR Discord channel. If you're not in there yet, go to dfskarma.com, sign up and subscribe for the NASCAR Season Pass to get it, or the MVP package as well. That has all sports, NASCAR included. And so if you are in the green on betting or DFS or even Monkey Knife Fight, throw those screenshots up on Twitter, tag the man as you see underneath his face. His Twitter handle is @DavidJr831, and also tag the home account @DFS_Karma, and we'll definitely reblast and retweet those shout-outs. So, hoping that there are... Well, it's weird to hope for wrecks, because you're like you just said before.
There will be wrecks.
If theoretically there's no wrecks, you're going to be losing a lot of money.
I'll lose a ton of money.
But it's kind of... Isn't it a bad omen to kind of be like, I really hope there's the wrecks I plan to happen, because you're kind of like... Granted, they're very, very safe because they have all of this safety equipment and the roll.
Oh yeah, no one's gonna get hurt.
But
they're
isn't there like a part of you that's like, why, like rooting for that to happen? I don't know. It's a weird feeling.
No, not one bit. I'm good with it.
You're a horrible person, so it's
I am. What can I say?
But yeah, guys. So if you so the last thing I'm gonna say for the millionth time, KarmaMedia.live. You have to subscribe to this YouTube channel. That's where all of our stuff is going. And if you're watching it right now, as we're wrapping this up, click the like button, subscribe, and then turn your notifications on so every time we go live, you'll know. It'll send a little mini alert there to your phone. But click the thumbs up on KarmaMedia.live on our YouTube channel, and we will see you guys here next week for the next race, which is
Vegas, I think.
Vegas. And do you know the approximate time for that race start?
Probably like 2:30, 3 o'clock. It's in the West Coast, so it'll probably be like 3 o'clock or something like that. So we're good. I think most races start at 2 o'clock or later. So this year, unless they're Saturday night. So which
we
I know
will
you love.
continue this party in the NASCAR channel in our Discord chat room. But until next week, we bid you guys adieu. Thanks for tuning in for this very lengthy Daytona 500 stream. Rewind it if you want
Should
to.
be. It's the Super Bowl.
It's the Super Bowl of motorsports. But yeah, guys, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you when we see you. Deuces.